Hello plant people, my name is Nora, also known as the Leca Queen on Instagram. Thank you very much for joining me on my channel today where we discuss all things indoor plants. Today I will be potting up my Melano. I've got that gorgeous, beautiful plant that I will be potting up. I will be attaching that to a moss pole, and if you haven't seen the video where I make this moss pole, I recommend that you just jump back and watch that so you know where all this started. I will attach this Melano to this moss pole and I will pot it up in this pot using my most gorgeous Italian Leca that has been pre-soaked in Growth Technology CLONEX clone solution for at least 24 hours. I will also show you how I put the plant in the reservoir, and this is the CLONEX clone solution that I will use. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is attach the plant to the pole. I've got two plants here. I've got a teeny tiny one and I've got a much bigger one, and I want to attach them to the plants so that as the plant climbs up the pole, the leaves get bigger and bigger and bigger, as has happened with my marble green back here, my golden ivy, my El Salvador. So once the plant starts climbing up, the leaves get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it really is the only way to do that. But in order for that to happen, you need to pot up the plant when it's small. I find it easier to attach the plant to the moss pole first before I put the pole in the Leca. It's just easier to maneuver. You know exactly where the roots need to be and you can position it to where you need to be. And to help me do this, I've got my plant ties. So these are just Velcro plant ties and will help me position the plant where it needs to be. So remember that segment of the pole. We're going to squeeze that and just push those two bits together so you've got a distinct separation between the side that has the moss and the side that doesn't have the moss. We will then obtain our plant, position it where we need it to be, and we want to make sure that the roots are nowhere near the moss. So it's going to be like so, because if you put the roots close to the moss, the plant risks root rot because the moss is going to be moist at all times, or at least it should be anyway. So this is where I want my plants to be. So I then get my tie and the soft portion of the Velcro going towards next to the plant, and I just manipulate that until the plant can stay. So that's where that will be. I get my second tie just to make sure that that is where I need it to be. The bigger plant has another section there. So doing this very gently, you don't want to damage your plant while you're doing this. And there you go. The plant is attached to the pole. Okay, this is a very important step because for this particular plant, the pole is quite short. It's made out of mesh, metal mesh, so I am not yet putting a metal rod to help stabilize it and help support it. I will do eventually when I start extending the pole, but for now, I just want to show you how it is possible to have the pole standing in the moss without a metal rod when you're using a very small plant. So this redundant bit we're going to fold over like that, and that is what's going to sit inside the pot. So you need to make sure that you don't have it protruding out. So just slightly above the level where you've got the moss starting, that's where you'll fold it up to. So I'll just put it down here so I can fold it properly. And it can be a bit fiddly. You need to do it very gently so you do not damage your roots. That's where I want that. It's very soft, easily maneuverable. Okay, So now that we've got that, the next thing we need to do is just fold that over into a little triangle, because the pot is round, so you won't be able to have a square object sitting there, so we need to curve it a bit. Okay, it's so much easier when you're just using a metal rod, but I just thought I'd show you what else I do, and these are some of the little tricks that I have found work for me. So you've got something like this, it's like a little cup there, and that's what we're going to put in our pot. So we've got our pot here, a little bit of leca in there so the roots aren't touching the nutrient solution, and then scooch that over like that, and then you've got that sitting there. So you might have to fiddle around with it a little bit until it's in a position where you feel it's stable. And if you remember, you can always lift it up. You can't push it in. So you might want to start lower and then pull the pole up if you need to. So I'm now going to fill the pot. So now turn it around and fill the leca in at the back as well. So as you can see, we have now completely filled that pot with leca, making sure you fill the back, the redundant space at the back, and yeah, there it is. There's no support on it. It's purely the mesh itself, and just adjusting the plant if you need to face the direction that you want it to. And yeah, that's it. This plant is now living in leca. I am now going to put it in a reservoir. So the reservoir I'm going to use is just this simple pot liner, and I will put Growth Technology CLONEX clone solution in there. So I'll show you how much you need. You don't need a lot because you don't want those roots touching that solution. So just about there until you start getting the leca roots growing through. So you can see here, so that's how much liquid I put in there. Once you get the plant in there, it's just about there. The roots are starting over there, so the roots are not touching. We could probably actually even put a little bit more. So that is the reservoir that that plant is going to be in. Growth Technology CLONEX clone solution until the leca roots come through, and then I will change that to foliage focus. So there is my Milano potted up on a moss pole in leca, living in a reservoir. Thank you so very much for watching. See you next time.